and welcome to another video on the Baggers Chat YouTube channel. Today we will be talking about a bit of news that has come out, and it is about Elijah Hollands and Will White has been delisted from the Carlton Football Club. I will put on the ticker there, straight there, Daffy Boy. I forgot to do that. I was reading off my notes and I forgot to do that, but big news, Daffy Boy. I'll throw straight to you. I know that we probably won't spend too much time on this video, but I know that it is a big talking point that's come out of today, because now it's another guy who was contracted until 2026 has now been delisted as well, similar to Jackson Binns yesterday, the update that we did yesterday. But I'll throw straight to you, mate. How are you? The past probably, 16, 17 hours since we last spoke, but, how are you since yesterday?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm going well. The weekend's here. I'm sure everyone listening's got that kind of Friday fever going, Pato. Getting up and about on their, clocking off on their shifts on a Friday, finishing off early and having a couple of frothies. So, yeah, hope everyone has a good weekend coming up. But in terms of this news, I guess we kind of thought it was coming. We said it in the video yesterday. Kind of hinting at it. We didn't go deep into it, but we had a feeling that these guys were on the chopping block, and clearly they are. And I know both of them still have a shot, but it's not a guaranteed shot either. So it's it's not like they will be trained on players. It is they could be. And I had a read. If anyone hasn't had a read of Nick Austin on the website, just the way there's not a video, but it's just the text, and just the way he spoke about the whole situation just doesn't give me much confidence if I was in the Elijah Hollands or Will White camp at the moment. But that's just kind of what I've initially taken out of that, Pato.
I know that we were speaking about it a few days ago, and it's been a conversation for probably a few weeks now, let's be real, about Elijah Hollands, whether we would give him that. I mean, not like it's our choice, Daffy Boy, but whether Carlton will give Elijah Hollands that chance for 2026. And I've got to be honest, I wasn't expecting this. I really wasn't. I thought that they probably would give him the benefit of the doubt and maybe make this decision maybe over the offseason. But I guess they kind of need to make the choice right here, right now. Because if they are a little bit unsure, this is probably the way to go about it, because that means that you can kind of delist him now. And if you choose to not play him, choose to not re-rookie him, okay, well, that's fine. And then that means that you move into 2026 without Elijah Hollands, and whether he would get picked up by another club, who knows? But now it's like we've made this choice again. Like, hearing this news today, and what's your automatic sort of thoughts about this? And do you think that these guys will get an opportunity, or do you think, because it looks to me, and it looks quite clear that Carlton have 4 list spots available at this point, and I don't know if they're going to go into the draft and potentially draft 4 kids. I don't see that happening. I think probably 2 guys are locked in, which is Harry Dean and Ison as well. But whether we also look at that other, who was the other guy again that we were speaking about?
He's a small forward, Lockie Doverston.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. So he's rated about in the projections today. He's about 16, 17, but he's probably the best small forward in the draft. So if we're targeting a small forward, then that would be the guy. But I'm not saying it's any guarantee.
Yeah. And I think you were saying yesterday when we saw each other that he looks a bit like the Nick Watson type, where as soon as he comes in to an AFL club, he can probably make some impact, can't he?
Yeah. And he's a little bit smaller, and he's got that kind of zip and zap that, I know we've got Ainsworth and Hayward, but we probably still need that genuine young small forward. I know we've got Motlop, and people probably listening are saying, Daff, we've got Motlop, but, if, we need someone who can push Motlop as well, so he doesn't get a guaranteed spot. But knowing Carlton on mid-season drafts, they are the most unpredictable team to really project who we're going to pick. I feel like every year we do a draft video or a mid-season draft video, and everyone thinks we're going to pick these, 1, 2, 3 players, and it's someone else. I know Dean and Ison are locks, but in terms of the other ones, it's a who knows.
Yeah. So your mindset at the moment, do you think that there could be a world that Carlton would draft the 4 players? I know that I don't think that, but I want to hear your thoughts. But also, if you think there's another player, if we do pick up 3 draftees and there is an extra spot available heading into preseason, and whoever we choose as that last player, it might not be Elijah Hollands or Will White, another player. So what's your kind of thoughts? Like, do you think we could potentially draft the 4 players in the draft?
Yeah, nah, I think we'll take 3.
Yeah.
I think we'll take 3 because the whole situation with the Harry Dean pick, which once again, Willem Dersma said that he would pick Harry Dean at 1. Hello. I think we might be downplaying this kid, even though we know he's going to be really good. This is getting me up and about. I know this video isn't about Harry Dean, and we'll have a lot of draft videos in the next couple of weeks. But I'm just saying, Blues fans, again, let's just sit back and enjoy the show. But yeah, I think we'll take 3, and like you said, I think we'll have that one spot, whether it's for Hollands, White, or someone else. I'll just make a call right here. This is going to be a call. I don't like making huge calls all the time. I don't think Will White or Elijah Hollands will be on our list next season, and I think it's for the better. I think we're in a spot now where you got to make the tough decisions. And like you said, I would rather be giving a spot to someone who might be going through the VFL system. I have one name in particular. I know he's more of a half-back, but he's been playing at Frankston. Jackson Voss. He averages about 28 a game. Not saying he is the guy, but that's just a name that popped in my head. He's been in that VFL system for years. Deserves another shot, has been dominating twos, clearly has good work ethic. You'd probably rather a guy like that, not just him, to be a club than an Elijah Hollands that might leave that cloud above. You know what I mean? That, oh, fuck, is he going to stuff up again? Or do you bring in a guy who's like, okay, we back this guy in, and he's going to be ready to play ones when his name's called. Is Elijah always going to be ready? If we keep him, I hope so. But it's that little bit of like in your head going, oh, like, you know what I mean? Like it's and that's, I'm not having a go at Elijah here, but that's just the situation that it is.
Yeah, I was going to say I unfortunately agree.
Yeah,
I had a different perspective, but after hearing that, I feel like now clubs are actually utilizing the VFL more than ever.
Yes.
Even in the mid-season drafts, I think a lot more clubs, when in past years they wouldn't be as active in the mid-season and potentially leaving a list spot for a guy who might be playing VFL and come in and get a list spot like at the end of the year. I don't think a lot of clubs used to really do that, but I feel like most clubs nowadays are leaving 1 or 2 spots available at the end of the year after the draft to potentially give an opportunity to a VFL player. But yeah, I think it is a little bit of bias as well, but Elijah Hollands is probably one of my favorite players that is at Carlton. Well, he's not at Carlton anymore, but if he was to be at the club, he is one of my favorite players. I just love the way that he goes about it, and I feel like that's exactly what we kind of need. We need that classy ball user that can roll through the middle, but can also go forward and kick goals as well. Like one of the games that comes to my mind was 2024 against Essendon. I know it's only against Essendon, but the way that he played was just something that I was so excited about. And I just feel like he was one of the core reasons as to the way that we played in 2024.
Yes.
He was just a huge part of that. And I don't think he's spoken about enough. And I think the talent that he has, I'm on the side of I would rather give that opportunity to Elijah Hollands, knowing that he probably would be picked up from another club in the SSB, even mid-season next year. So
maybe.
Yeah. Do you reckon he could potentially be picked up at the end of the year if Carlton choose to not pick him up?
I think it'd be a big risk for clubs to take him on, especially when you don't. I don't know, you can speak to him and have meetings and all that kind of stuff, but I think when he's in the 4 walls, you know who he is as a person, and he's been there for 2-3 years now at Carlton, so they know exactly who he is, and they know the issues he's going through. If you're looking at other clubs, they might know it from a surface level. They might not know the full detail. I know they'd probably get their details because I know Elijah would probably want to be open about that. But yeah, it's an interesting situation, and I think you're spot on in terms of his ability. But yeah, for me, I'm not going to be angry if we keep him, but it's more like, you look at these other clubs and they nail these preseason gets. Look at Geelong. They nail it. They don't hold on to blokes.
No.
They don't hold on to blokes. And we haven't held on to blokes this year. We've got rid of guys who people were on the fence about. Chincotta, gone. No ifs or buts. Gone. And Will White, gone. Jackson Binns, gone.
Orazio.
Contracted player. Yeah. Igrazio, gone. It's brutal, but I think this is where I want it to go. And we need to just, at the moment, cut the shit. And and it's tough because I hate saying it because his ability, but I just don't want to keep saying it for years if this keeps occurring or his performance are impacted by that.
Do you think, from a club point of view, they are like? I feel like the way that they've spoken about Elijah the past few weeks has been from a point of view as they're over it. They don't want to have to deal with it anymore.
Yeah.
But from a do you think that Carlton are really that concerned heading? All right, I'll compare an Elijah Hollands situation to a Charlie Curnow situation. Do you think they would be more concerned about Charlie heading into 2026 if he was at the club and he didn't get traded to Sydney? Or do you think that they would be more concerned about Elijah Hollands? I just don't think the story around Elijah Hollands, I just think he's got personal problems. I don't think he's bad for culture, but
are
you kind of a different sort of thought?
Yeah, I think the big issue is his availability. In the last year, it's not the culture. I don't think he affects the players.
Yeah,
it's more about, can we count on him to play from round 1 to finals? Can we count on him to be available every single week?
Yeah,
and I think he can get himself better, but you can't 100% guarantee it.
Yeah,
you can guarantee Ollie Hollands. I can guarantee Frank Evans.
Yeah,
can you guarantee Hollands at the moment, based on his last 2 years? Or last, 12 months, whatever, 15 months, can you trust him to play every game next year? I think that's probably where they're thinking. Because if they go and keep him, they'll cop it if it happens again. The fans will be going, why are we keeping a guy when we could have given Will White a spot? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's a tough decision. It's a tough decision. And I think the only reason why he's still there is because he has an ability that some players don't have.
Yeah. See, sorry, go.
The only reason. I'd say that's the only reason why he's still there, or a chance, because of his ability.
It's so fascinating. And I know that we were literally speaking about it last night about you were on the side of, well, if Jackson Binns is getting delisted, that probably looks like that Elijah Hollands will be. But then I'm like, no. I think that means that his spot is locked in for 2026, and now this has happened. Yeah. So that's why I'm thinking. I'm just I don't know if it's going to be down to I just feel like from a rookie point of view, if you re-rookie him, I don't think he has that expectation. I feel like Carlton almost would rather. Well, I've got no idea, but if I'm Carlton, I think to give this guy a rookie spot, there's no real risk, and I feel like what he's capable of. So if he's moved to a rookie position, there's not a lot of expectation. There's not a lot of risk. But also, as you've said, it is a list spot. It is an availability.
That's the thing.
So I'm just thinking maybe you do give it to a Will White, or maybe you do give it to an Ethan Phillips as another key stock, or whoever it would be. Kind of last thoughts on this, but overall, hearing that, what's your I mean, I know that we've already spoken about, but your hearing that with what I just said, what's your kind of thoughts at the moment?
Yeah, of course, it'd be no risk with the rookie spot, but again, for me, like you said, it's the list spot. If we have an injury or two in his position, and he might not be available, or it's an interesting situation. It's so hard. It's probably the hardest, really, to get a real answer out of. We've got a bit of an answer today, I think, on Carlton's stance, but on it, is it 100% or is it 75%? I think it'd be more on the side that he won't be there next year, but there's also that in my head creeping, do we give him that rookie? Do we give him that $200,000 contract for one more year, and it gives him a chance? So I think there's no risk of keeping him on as a train-on player. And then if they decide in February that he's not required, then I'm sure he'll find a VFL club or, an AFL affiliated club to play for. I don't know if it'd be Carlton. I just think that relationship would be broken. But like if he is delisted, I don't know if he'd want to come back and go through all that again. So it's that's my final thoughts on it. It's tough, but I'm happy that the club aren't just holding. They're making a decision and taking the risk out of it for our whole kind of situation.
Yeah. Before we move on to Flynn Young and him re-signing, Will White and Elijah Hollands, percentage in your mind right here, right now that they're playing it in a Carlton jumper 2026, what are
they? Will White, I really like Will. And I know we've spoken about Elijah a lot. I really like the way he goes about it.
Yeah.
And his effort and his heart. And this might be brutal. 5%.
Yep.
But it could increase if he is a train-on player. Because I look at the situation. Actually, I'll go to Elijah and then I'll go to my point. Elijah, it can't be above 50. I'd say 20.
Yep.
I'd say 20. And then, but my point of view with Will White, and can be Elijah as well, that look at Matt Carroll.
Yep.
Got delisted last year.
Yep.
Train on, no guarantee. And now he's got a 2-3 year deal.
Evans as well.
Yep, exactly the same. So I think that situation, they can draw inspiration from those two players if they get the opportunity. And mate, do one of them get it? I don't know. I seriously don't know. But depends on what players we're looking at. It could be, they could look at Ryan Burton as a train-on player. If he's a train-on player, then I think those two are no chance.
That is a very good point. Maybe that last list spot will be for Ryan Burton if maybe we only pick up 2 players in the draft. I still think we would pick up 3.
Yeah.
But
could be 3 and Burton.
Yeah. Yep. That's a very good point. Yeah. So probably a better question to ask is so draft and the last list spot, SSP, do you think that last list spot would be for the draft or SSP?
It's tough. I'd say 3 spots for the draft. Ison, Dean, other bloke. Don't know his name yet because we don't know who it is, but and then 1 spot for whatever it is, whether it's a fucking rookie draft or whatever, just for a player that's not on the list currently.
Yeah. But Daffy Boy, let's now move on to a bit more of a positive news. As we mentioned yesterday, Jackson Binns was a bit more of the negative news and Mitch McGovern was a bit more of the positive news. Same thing today. We've got a bit of negative news, but now this is the positive news with Flynn Young re-signing. And now it is kind of looking clear and kind of the dots are connecting together with why the decisions that Carlton are making are happening. And then now with us re-signing Flynn Young, that means that probably Flynn Young will be moving to more of a wing position instead of half forward. And that means that he probably would be covering the Jackson Binns role and he probably would be on probably similar money, if not even less than Jackson Binns. I know that he was a rookie player as well. But Dave, I know how much you love Flynn Young as a player. I know that we haven't seen him a lot, but with what you've seen of him, ever since he's come to the club, you've been a huge fan of him. So I know you must be extremely happy about this re-signing.
Yeah, I think he's got plenty to improve on still, but I think he has that. You know, when I see a player who's been starved of an AFL opportunity and he has the characteristics to play AFL, that's when I have confidence in them. I look at Frank Evans. I know he's played AFL for 17 other clubs already, but he has the attributes. He has the attributes to play at AFL level. It just wasn't on show. He hadn't got to that yet. Yeah. I think Flynn Young can get to that. He can play on the wing. He can play half forward. He can play small forward. He can play numerous amount of roles. And I think the last month and a half, I was really pleased. And I know it was the last game of this. I think he kicked a couple against Port, kicked a couple against 2 or 3 against Essendon in that last game. I know, like you look at that game and it's not the most high quality competitive game of football, genuine dead rubber, but you're still going to do it. And I saw enough for him to be re-signed. I think we both spoke about him and Frank Evans at the time that we were really optimistic about having them on our list for the 2026.
I'm a huge fan of him. I really am.
Yeah.
I think once again we speak about this all the time. Another Werribee player. So, we know that with what we've seen with Werribee and how they've kind of made their impact from a mid-season point of view, coming into the AFL and actually making an impact. And there's still plenty of other players on the Werribee list that are still well and truly capable to play AFL. So, I'm a huge fan of us re-signing Flynn Young. And once again, it's just another guy that will be depth. But if he comes into the side, he is going to be right there, ready to play. But before we wrap up this video, do you think he probably will be playing in that wing role that I probably expect him to play, or do you think he probably will be kind of mastering that half forward role that he was kind of playing towards the back end of the year?
Yeah, it's probably tough for him to get a few spots when I think about it. Like on the wing, they got a few guys in there now, so maybe unless they're going, okay, he's on the wing instead of Binns, he's a part of that depth rather than Binns. But also, I feel like he has that ability to have a kind of a deeper forward role. I think he has the ability too.
Yes.
So if the Jesse Motlop's not performing, we've got Hayward playing high half forward. I know Ainsworth might play a little bit deeper now, but he can play high as well. And then you go, okay, Flynn Young, this is your chance. You play the small with Evans. You know what I mean? And change that kind of forward up a bit. I don't know. But yeah, the positive with me, the overall thing with him is he can play a couple of roles and has good ball use and hasn't had an AFL preseason yet. So what we've seen of him is VFL conditioning. When he has AFL conditioning in him, that's when I think we can fully have a full gauge and full judge of his ability, I think.
Yeah, very well said. I just think there's a certain role in my mind that I see Flynn Young playing, and it's that high half forward wing. But it's more of I think I want him to play as a genuine winger, but an offensive winger. I know that we speak a lot about a defensive winger, which is probably a Blake Acres, and I know Ollie Dempsey with what he plays at the Cats, that exact role. I probably don't see him getting near their best 22, 23 Flynn Young. But once again, it's a great role that you can go in and work in the VFL. And as you said, if Blake Acres is in the best 22, or if Ollie Hollands is in the best 22 as a winger, and Flynn Young is dominating in the VFL, and these guys aren't playing too well in the AFL, well, the question needs to be asked, and that's when Flynn Young gets the opportunity. Because as we've always said, he has great ball use. He lowers the eyes. If you isolate the forward line for Harry Mackay in the forward 50, and you get the ball into Flynn Young's hands,
can't wait for him to lace it out in a dead rubber in round 21.
Can't wait to see him lace it out to our newest SSP draft, Ethan Daffy.
Keep forward.
But Daffy boy, before we wrap up this quick video, is there anything else you would like to touch on?
No, it's been good. It's so I want to hear people's thoughts on this Elijah situation, because I am just so confused at what's happening. Now we've got a bit of an answer, but I'm still a little bit like, is he gone? Is he staying? I feel like they're both gone, him and White. That's just my final verdict. And really pleased with Flynn Young, and I'm intrigued to see what people have to say about both the delistings and the re-signing of Flynn Young. I think there's been a lot of positivity around the Young re-signing, because I think you've almost got to go out of your way and give the guy a chance, because he came in mid-year, and he was tearing up in VFL level. I want to see him turn that VFL form and play like that in the AFL, which I think he can, and that could get him a spot. He'd get a spot over Fogarty, in my opinion.
Yeah. Can I just say, that's another player that I've been like, if we're starting to delist these guys.
Yeah. I guess it's good depth, though. He's good depth.
He is good depth.
Yeah. He's played a lot of footy. I think that he's played, consistent footy. And you look at his 2024, 23 form, it was pretty good. So I said it to you yesterday, even about Sardi and other guys, it's hard to get a full judge of the season. It got to the point in the season where I felt like our footy club was on its knees just as a whole. And mentally, I think they were cooked. You look at that North game, they just did, those group of players, they should be winning that game.
Yeah.
And it just didn't look like, you know what I mean? I'm not trying to cop out. Not trying to let them get away with those performances, but you could just see it. It was just the whole footy world was just on there, just right there, just watching us just fail, just ready for us to make it. And Sardi's lost confidence this year, so there'll be a few players where I think they will get back to their 23, 24 form or even better.
Yep. Well said, Daffy Boy. Very well wrapped up. But to every single blue bagger out there, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe on this YouTube channel so you don't miss a thing over this off season. But also make sure to keep watch for next year because it will be a huge year for Bagger Chat in 2026. But also make sure to check out our socials so you don't miss a thing. But to you, Daffy Boy, and to every single blue bagger out there,
the Baggers.